We've got a classic spring storm that's creating wintry weather on the northern end and severe weather as far north as we've seen so far this spring season, all the way even to southern Minnesota. So we've got this monster upper level low, once again one of these hitting the west coast, moving over the Rockies and redeveloping into a classic spring storm, pushing warm moist air up ahead of it out of the Gulf of Mexico, this time getting as far north as we've really seen so far this season, up into Minnesota, Wisconsin even. So marginal risk of severe weather today, southwestern Minnesota into Nebraska, and another area here into mainly Oklahoma, but this is all pretty mellow stuff. It's tomorrow that we're going to see things come together for a more significant outbreak. Two areas of moderate risk of severe weather, eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, and then into primarily northeastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, and a large area of enhanced risk, and a large area as well where we're expecting this significant risk of severe weather. That hatched area, meaning that's where we have a 10% or greater chance that within that area we will see significant severe weather. And this is really about as far north, again, as we've seen so far this season, being fueled by the warmth and moisture that's going to be moving as far north as we've seen too. Dew points near 60 all the way into southeastern Minnesota, where not long ago there was still snow on the ground there, and there still is for much of the northern 2/3 of the state. That cold front will push that moisture away, but plenty of fuel for these storms. The energy today, again, on the modest level, but we're going to see that intensify. This is that convective available or thunderstorm available energy for storms really maximizing here into eastern Iowa, and then later on in the evening across parts of Arkansas, and then that colder air will shut that all down, push it east. But we've also got a very powerful jet stream developing too. It's going to intensify to Texas and Oklahoma, shooting right into Missouri, northern Illinois here as we head into late tomorrow. So we're seeing all the dynamics come together, low-level winds roaring out of the south and southwest here at 40-50 miles an hour. That's transporting the moisture and that heat farther north. And at the same time, mid-level winds coming straight out of the west. 10,000 feet, winds over 100 miles an hour. That's some pretty intense wind, and that's all helping to create the shear, or that horizontal movement of air that we measure, and that helps storms organize, because as updrafts get going, it can turn that horizontal spin vertical. And it's important to organize storms and separate out the downdraft air from the updraft air. That's what makes these long-lived. This is the significant tornado parameter really maximizing here Friday evening into Illinois. You can see eastern Iowa, even up into southern Wisconsin. Looks like a hail threat as you go further north into Minnesota, but at the same time, we're going to see thunder snow, convective bands of snow into Minnesota, but then these strong storms develop. This is 3 o'clock, just starting to see things blow up, and then you can see eastern Iowa into Illinois and Wisconsin. We see clusters of storms really fill in and move east. Well, again, on the cold side, they see some significant heavy wet snow. So that's what we're watching for tomorrow, all sorts of weather, and another storm in sight for next week.